What's going on, guys? Over here once again bringing you back my Let's Talk F1 2015 series, and today we're going to be analysing the new Ferrari SF15T. So this is the 2015 Challenger Ferrari have launched for the season ahead, and to be honest, if you look quickly at a glance at this car, it doesn't look too different apart from the nose, to be honest, but if you look a bit closer, there are a few key improvements. Mentioning the nose, as you can see on screen right now, you can see it's a very different nose to last year, and I'll get later on into the video about why they've done it that way and how it meets the regulations. Let's get straight to looking at the car from a view where we can see everything, the rear and the front. So the rear of the car above the exhaust, we can see a monkey seat that they pretty much ran all last year. Pretty similar shape and design. Of course, one would think they would maybe try to emphasize a bit more on this, as it is quite a key feature to create rear downforce, but I suspect Ferrari especially will maybe concentrating on the whole car as a whole, because last year, well, for their standards, was absolutely horrible. About halfway through the season, I believe, last year, they've started running these slits down the front, and they've kept them now for the launch car. And then they got the usual slot gaps at the top, which pretty much you'll see every F1 team running, apart from maybe the back markers. But as you can see from this view in general, the whole car looks very similar to last year's car, to be honest, apart from the nose and maybe the side pods a little bit. That have changed a bit in geometry, but as you can see, I've just drawn some rough lines just to get a sense of the geometry of the wing, because obviously red on red, even with the shadow work from the lighting in this photograph, it's quite hard to see sometimes the actual shape of the side pod. But it's still quite a similar Ferrari shape that we saw last year, which is not really a symmetrical rounded side pod, but it kind of slants in at the front and then kind of gets bulkier at the back, which is a bit odd. Now zooming into the front section where the nose is and the front wing, we can see the nose tip comes to that 9,000mm area at the front, and then where the pylons meet the front wing is probably where the 20,000mm area that FIA have set is there. So Ferrari have gone for a very swooping long nose compared to, well, the Lotus, which is a very short nose. We've seen Williams with the thumb nose and McLaren with also a similarly long nose. I guess really compared to any other car, the McLaren is closest to this nose, but I think Ferrari have extended it a little bit longer for some reason. The actual front wing of the Ferrari is pretty much identical to the one they ran at the last race at Abu Dhabi last season, which is quite a surprise to me, because I would think with James Allison aboard on Ferrari, well, you know, seeing as he's had now a full year where he can maybe put an influence on this car, I would have thought maybe he would have liked to change the design a little bit and tweak it to the way he liked it, but I guess they focused a bit more on the rear of the car, albeit that's the most important area of the car these days. The only major noticeable change on the front wing is the end plate. It's now a smooth surface that curves outwards towards the rear of the tip, and then that generates air going around the front tyres. Last season they had a pretty similar end plate, but they did have a slot gap. And now from this different angle of the front, you can clearly see highlighted in green there by the suspension. I've drawn out the outlines. You can see the Ferrari running the same sort of suspension as the Mercedes car. You can also see some nice aero details of the winglets underneath the car. If you look just below where the camera is mounted, that's the sort of winglets I was talking about in my McLaren analysis video. Air on the inside of the front wing is basically channeled towards that little winglet that moves the air around to the rear of the car and to the barge boards. And Ferrari is still sticking with their brake ducts that are quite distinctive of the Ferrari car. So we're now moving on to the rear of the car, which is quite detailed actually, to be honest, in this launch, apart from the diffuser being covered up, which is usually a standard thing we saw today when the Toro Rosso got launched. By the way, I'll be doing a video on that later on in the week. When it got launched, the diffuser was covered up as well, and I suspected most of the pictures, if you actually look closer, the diffuser is closed off, apart from maybe some promotional videos. But apart from that, we can see some really nice detail around the brake ducts. You can see just about 5 or 6. I sort of picked out the last one is a bit negotiable, so it might just be 5 winglets over the brake ducts. Now these winglets are purely to create downforce at the rear. Any air that hits the rear tire will go either left or right, and the one that hits the inside edge and goes towards the brake duct, of course some air will go in the brake duct, but these winglets are there to create downforce. In the past, this and also with the exhaust outlets on the side pods, this really helped the blown diffuser effect. It's still effective right now, and of course that's why they put it on the car. If you compare it to the Abu Dhabi spec car in 2014, I believe the Ferrari was only running at least maybe 2 very small winglets, and these are much more prominent. They're going really pretty much all the way to the rear wing plate, and it's what we've seen Red Bull and Mercedes run since pretty much 2012. I think you'll find the Red Bull probably ran it in 2011, and then the Merc followed suit in 2012. You'll see other cars running it like the McLaren and the Williams, but they're even less. They're probably about 3 winglets. And Ferrari have only now caught on to going to 5 or 6 winglets like the Red Bull and the Mercedes have done. We have a really nice comparison now of the Ferrari launch car on the left-hand side, the 2015 car, the official photos, and the right-hand side is the old Ferrari of last season, the 2014 season, around Monaco. You can see the major difference in the winglets. There you can see just about 2 or 3 winglets, or at least 2 winglet slot gaps, compared to now the 2015 launch car having about 5 slot gaps and 5 winglets maybe. You can also see some just little details on the rear wing at the top there. And so finally, as we come to the end of the video, we got a comparison between the 2015 and 2014 cars from the top view down. On the left-hand side, we've got, again, the 2015 car, and on the right, the 2014 one. Now, you should be able to see the difference straight away. There is a different sort of shape to the whole side pod area, and it's a lot tighter on the rear now in 2015. Highlighted in green now is the shape of the side pod, and I'll put lines in green to show the geometry of the side pod, just so you can see how it tapers down to the floor. It may just be the lighting, but to me, where the driver's area is, it's a lot more prominent on the 2014 car than the 2015. This may suggest they've smoothed everything out a bit more to get better aero efficiency, but to be honest, it could just be the lighting, so don't take my word for it. But you can see the 2015 car, compared to the 14 one, is similar, but it is a bit tighter on the rear. Definitely so, the bodywork goes a lot longer into the actual car itself, whereas in 2014, probably due to the new engines needing a bit more cooling, maybe, with the actual engine cover comes short and cuts out to just a flat surface. The tightening of the rear of the car on this Ferrari is a bit less apparent when you actually look at it from the sides and maybe from the front on, and it looks actually quite boxy on the front on view and from the side view, but I'm pretty sure that's more of the smooth curves just all blending in together. Like I said, red on red, there's not a lot of shadowing you can do on this car to really show the geometry of the side pod, so it may just kind of look a bit boxy, but it definitely has tightened up from last year. So that has been the analysis of the Ferrari SF15T. Ferrari obviously have to also improve their Ferrari engine, so I'm sure a lot of performance will come from there, and they'll be pushing quite hard to do that as well. But from a car standpoint, that is all that is changed on the Ferrari. But obviously, this is all just launch specs. All the analysis I've done for all the cars so far, they're all launch specs, to be honest. So you have to take everything I say with a pinch of salt. Things will change in testing and will inevitably be very different, probably, for the first race. So that's the end of the video. If you guys did enjoy that, then do leave a like. Comment below what you thought of this. Do you like the Ferrari car? Do you like the look of the nose? I'm not convinced. I think they could have done a much better job on that nose. And I think there are more aerodynamic designs for the nose. You know, it looks like they've just met the regulations. I think, to be honest, in my opinion, you know, there's a lot more aerodynamic designs they could do for that nose to allow better airflow under the car. And also, I think they've gone a bit casual on the rest of the car. They haven't gone very aggressive on the new updates. I guess maybe they're focused a lot on the engine, I'm going to guess, but we don't really know, and we don't know what updates will come for testing. But do let me know what you think with a comment. Again, give it a like if you did enjoy it. Subscribe if you're new around here for weekly F1 content just like this, but also Formula 1 gaming videos if you're interested in that stuff. I've been aarava, hope you enjoy the rest of your day, and I'll see you guys next time.